Good day, everybody. You are welcome to Anatomy and Physiology class. At the end of this lecture, we will be able to name the four primary tissue types and the major subcategories of each. We will be able to identify the four primary tissue types and the major subcategories of each through microscopic inspections or models. And at the end of this lecture, we're able to state the locations, functions, key features of each tissue type. We're able to differentiate between the exocrine and endocrine glands and cite examples of each. So, for you to understand this topic very well, because we're going to be talking basically on tissues, you have to go back, read your cells, read about cells, read about cells first. You have to read about cells, the human cells. Why do you need to read about human cells? The human cells are the one that combines together to give us what is called tissues. And the study of tissues happens to be what? Histology. So histology is what we are going to be doing basically here. So for tissues can be defined as group of more cells coming together with similar structures and similar functions, meaning that the cells that have similar structures or similar functions are the one combining together to give us what is known as a tissue. So we have four principal types of tissues. Four principal types of tissues, which are the first one is epithelial tissues. We have what is called epithelial tissue. The second one is connective tissue. The second one is connective tissue. The third one is muscular tissue. And we have the last one to be nervous tissues. So those are the four types of tissue that we have. Let me come back. The first one is epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Those are the four types of tissue that we have. So let's now move to epithelial tissues. Epithelial tissues happens to be a type of tissues that line or cover the line or cover structures in the body. They are capable of lining, they are also capable of what? Covering. So they can either they line or they cover structures in the body. So epithelial tissue can now be classified based on two things. We have the first one is based on shape, whereas the second one based on the numbers of layers. The numbers of layers, according to numbers of layers, we have simple epithelial tissue. We have stratified epithelial tissues. Simple epithelial tissues belongs to the categories of tissues that have just a single layers of cells. Single layers of cells comes together and cells coming together to form a single layer. So we see them as what? Simple epithelial tissue. Whereas stratified epithelial tissue happens to belong to the categories of tissue that has two or more numbers of layers of cells. Two or more numbers of layers of cells give us what's called stratified epithelial tissues. According to shape, we have the squamous. Squamous happens to be flattened. Cuboidal is having cube shape, when columnar is having rectangular shape or tall and cylindrical. So those are the shapes. According to shape, squamous, cuboidal, columnar. We also have another one which is known as transitional. transitional epithelium. That is according to shape. Transitional epithelium, that one is pear shape. That one is pear shape. So with the diagram here, you can see if you combine the simple and squamous, that simple squamous epithelium. This is the diagram for it. The nucleus is inside. The simple squamous epithelium is lined on a single layer, having flattened shape of cells. Then the we have stratified squamous. The stratified squamous is a type of a tissue that have two or more, that is several numbers of what? Of layers with flattened cell shape. So that is it. There we have simple columnar. The simple columnar epithelium, this one is having cube shape and it is being arranged on a single numbers of layer. And we have stratified cuboidal. Stratified cuboidal is being arranged on two layers of cells, and it is having cubed shaped cells. Then we have simple columnar epithelium. This one is arranged on a single layers of cells on a single layer, and it is now having tall and cylindrical shaped cells. Whereas we also have stratified columnar epithelium. The stratified columnar epithelium, this one is having two or more layers, two or more layers, two or more layers. You can see the two layers there. So, and it is having cells that have rectangular or tall and cylindrical in shape. So that is stratified columnar epithelium. So we also have the last one in the division, that is pseudostratified. The pseudostratified epithelium, pseudostratified, because the shape normally look like columnar. So that's why we call it pseudostratified columnar epithelium. The pseudostratified, this one has only single layer. It has single layer, but it always behave as if it is having many. It always behave as if it is having many. So we call it force. Force. Yeah. Pseudo means force. Pseudo stratify. Force. Force many. Force many. Many. So behaving as if it is many, but it's one. So that is the shape there. So we can now move deeper to it. So let's now look at the cell shape, which we know the squamous cuboidal columnar, we know this. Then this is the diagram for it. For in a more complex way, the simple squamous epithelium. So you can see the diagram for it there. Then the way it is being arranged, the simple columnar epithelium, the way it is being arranged, the simple ciliated columnar, the ciliated pseudostratified epithelium, then the stratified squamous epithelium, then the transitional epithelium. This one is having pear-shaped cells. The cells there, they behave or they resemble peared shaped, look like pear shape. So all this, if you are viewing it under microscope, these are what we will be seeing there. These are the structures we are expected to be seeing for each one of the epithelium, for each one of the type of epithelium. Then we move further. We are viewing it very well. This is the simple squamous epithelium. Where are the areas where you can find the simple squamous? We can find it in the lungs, in the alveoli specifically. We can find it in the blood vessels, lining of the blood vessels. How can you identify the simple squamous? Basically, single layer or small flat cells arranged around a large empty cells. So if you view it under microscope, you are expected to see this. Once you are seeing this shape, once you are seeing this, you quickly know that this is simple squamous. This is simple squamous. This is more practical enough. After collecting your sample, the sample in the body, place it on a slide, then view it under microscope. You see all this diagram like this. So for the simple cuboid epithelium too, you expected to see this. Where are the area where you can see it? You can see the kidney tubules. Kidney tubules. Their functions there is that they are meant for absorptions and secretions. So if you are seeing this, something like this, shapes, structures that resemble this under microscope, you quickly know that what you are seeing is what simple cuboidal epithelium. Simple cuboidal epithelium is what you are seeing there. Then we also have another one, simple columnar epithelium. These are more defined now. These shapes you are seeing now, these structures you are seeing now are more defined. Where can you see the simple columnar epithelium? You already know the simple columnar epithelium consists of a single layer of tall columnar-like cells, single layer of what? Of a single layer of rectangular uh, cells, rectangular shaped cells. So that is it. Then you have location where you can see it, you can find it in small intestine, in the lining of what? Intestine. And if you can find it in the intestine, the function are meant for what? Absorptions and secretions. Then features, what are the things you need to know there? Goblet cells is present, nuclear is present, microvilli is also what is also present there. So we have pseudostratified ciliate columna. The pseudostratified, this one now, they consist of a single layer, but they always behave as if they are many. So here now, if you look at it, we say a single layer of cells in differing heights, differing with nuclei in irregular rows. So cilia cover outer surface. Where can you find in trachea? So the pseudostratified ciliate columnar epithelium is found in trachea. Pseudostratified ciliate columnar epithelium is located or found in trachea. The function there is secretions and movement of mucus. The things expected to see there, cilia, goblet cells, and nuclei as well. Those are the things you see once you are viewing it under microscope. Then we now have another one here, which is stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified squamous epithelium, if you are viewing under microscope, this are the structure you are expected to see under microscope. Then you see stratified many layers of cells, but those cells are flattened in shape. They are flattened. So where can you see? You can see it in the lining mouth, in the lining of the mouth. You can find it in the esophagus. You can find it in vagina. That is to say in the private parts, you can find it there. So those are the areas where you can find the stratified squamous. In fact, some stratified squamous happens to be keratinized, when some are not keratinized. So the keratinized happens to belongs to skin, where not keratinized belongs to the mouth, uh, esophagus, vagina, and the like. So what are the functions there? Protections and protection from abrasions and infections. They are the one protecting the body from infections, from abrasions. So features you need to know there is nuclei. Nuclei is present there. Then we have stratified cuboidal epithelium. This is how stratified cuboidal epithelium look like. You can see it very clearly on the microscope. You see the way it is there. Then what are the functions? Protections as well. They are meant for protecting the body. And where are they located? Sweat glands, find it sweat gland, mammary glands, you can find it salivary glands. So they are found in those areas. Salivary glands, sweat glands, and salivary gland, sweat gland, and mammary gland. Those are the where you can find the stratified columnar epithelium. Transitional now. Transitional, those are the ones that said they resemble pear-shaped cells. Pear-shaped is always stratified. They have many layers of cells, many layers of cells. Where can you find it? Urinary bladder. You can find it in urinary bladder. Urethra. You can find it in urethra, urinary bladder. And what are the functions? Is elasticity. They are capable of stretching and recoiling. The features you need there is nuclei. Then, in summary, if you look at every different types of epithelial tissues there, their locations, their functions, which we've mentioned earlier. So this is everything in a summary. We look at it in summary. location, functions. So this is where you can find them: simple, squamous, where blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, the in the air sacs of the lungs. Air sacs of the lungs, you can find it. The simple squamous, the functions, dilution, filtrations, and secretes lubricating substances. So you can also find the simple columnar. Then this one absorbs and has what's called ciliated, then pseudostratify, found in trachea, in much of the upper respiratory tract, secrete mucus, then stratified squamous. We've done all this one before. Then stratified cuboidal found in glands, sweat glands, salivary gland, mammary gland. Then stratified columnar epithelium, the male urethra and the likes. Then transitional urinary bladder, ureter, and urethra. And those are the areas where you can find them in summary. So let's now move to the second type of of tissues. The second types of tissue. We mentioned four before. This is the second one, which is connective tissues. So in the connective tissues, we have cells known as what? Fibroblasts or fibrocytes. So those are the cells you're expected to see there. And this actually belongs to the loose connective tissues. Those are the area where you can see the fibroblasts or fibrocytes. So the protein fibers you can find there, you can find collagen, you can find elastic. Uh, so those reticulum, those are the things you can find there. So then we now have the charts here that show us how connective tissues, their divisions. So connective tissues proper, the specialized connective tissues. This one can be like the examples, but they are specialized one. That is bone, the connective tissues in a solid form, blood connective tissues in fluid form, cartilage connective tissue in a solid form, and that is how they are. Then the proper, we have loose connective tissues, we have dense connective tissues under loose: areola, adipose, reticular. So those are the types of loose connective tissues there. Then for the specialized bone, spongy bone, compact bone. For the cartilage, elastic, hairline, fibrocartilage. So the connective tissue, the loose now. Let's continue with the loose, where we have areola. Areolar connective tissues. How can you identify it under microscope? So these are the things you need to know there, because they are always located surrounding most organs, especially the organs under epithelia. So all those organs under epithelia, you can find loose connective tissue, and the divisions under is areolar connective tissues. Then the identifications, how can you identify it? The loose arrangement of thick fibers, loose arrangement of thick fibers, and thin fibers, and the fibers are randomly crisscross. So this is how you can see, you can identify the areolar collective tissues, areolar connective tissue, areolar connective tissues. So this is how you can see, you can actually see it. Then we have the next one, to adipose connective tissues. Adipose, this one they are made of basically fat. Especially to say fat there. Then they can be identified greatly enlarged cells, nearly the entire volume of which is a fat vacuole, and a few nuclei will be visible. So under skins, those are here we can see the adipose connective tissues in breast. You can see it there. Surrounding the eyes, adipose connective tissue is there. In fact, in the eye, you even see the adipose, one of the accessory structures there in the eye. Then in the kidneys as well. What are the functions? The energy storage, the storage, the pushing, the insulate. Those are the functions they perform there, or the roles they play. The fibers present there are not really visible, and the cells there is adipocytes, And the features you need to know there is adipocytes, nucleus in form of the arrowed hair. So that's how to identify. We have reticular connective tissues, which happens to be the third, apart from the first one, which we mentioned to be areola. Then from areola, we have adipose connective tissues, we have reticular connective tissues. The reticular connective tissues, locations of where you can find this is spleen, you can find it in bone marrow, lymph nodes, and how can you identify them? They are always dark staining reticular fibers. Many nuclei of lymphoblasts and other cells there, and brownish color is characterized of these tissues. That's how you can know it. Then you view it very well. This is the structure you have to see under microscope when viewing the reticular connective tissues. Then we have the dense regular connective tissues. The dense regular connective tissue, this one is found in the ligament and tendons. Ligament and tendons, and then the functions is always to attach bones to bone, bones to muscles, bones to bone, that is ligament, bones to muscle, that is tendon. Then the dense irregular, this one is found in the dermis of the skin and provides strength that can withstand them. So these are the structures expected to standard microscope. If I eventually collect structures, sample, body sample, and you view it under microscope, you have to see all this. If the structure you collected belong belong to either one of the two. Then elastic is the last one here, which can be found in aorta. Aorta is where you can find it. Then function is elasticity, capable of deforming and regaining its length back. Then cartilage, you have two types of cartilage. These are the structures expected to see. For hyaline cartilage, you can see this structure. Fibro cartilage, fibro, very tough. Eh? Then the elastic cartilage, capable of recoiling and deforming, and it will regain its strength back. So then you can view it further and have this question that what are the cells of cartilage called? You can call it chondrocytes. Chondrocytes. You can call this chondrocytes. Then you can see the cartilage locations where you can find all this cartilage specifically. Where you can find it, fibrocartilage. This one is fibrocartilage is illustrated by the red color, the green color with elastic. That one is can be found epiglottis in the larynx, larynx. That's where you can find it. Then hairline cartilage, that one is blue. You can find it in or can find it in thyroid cartilage. You can find it in thyroid cartilage. So that's how or where you can find them. Then can move further to this is the cells that I mentioned. Those are the cells of cartilage. Chondrocytes. 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 That's the cells of cartilage. When you view it under microscope, this is what you're expected to see there. Then hyaline cartilage. This belongs in hyaline cartilage. Then the elastic cartilage. This is it in there. Then the fibrocartilage. This is it. So we have this is bone connective tissues, the specialized one, bone connective. This is the blood connective tissues. That's how you can view it under microscope. These are the structures you're expected to see there. Then if you now look at it very well, the red blood cells, these are the various types of white blood cells, starting from basophils, lymphocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, monocytes, and monocytes. So this is monocytes. Monocytes is there. They are being labeled according to the figure there. Neutrophil. Neutrophil is also there. Eosinophils. Eosinophils is also there. So those are the white blood cells. So which I believe the red blood cells are the one connected. You can see many of them. Many of them then can see the each we can have platelets in the blood cells. So those are the white blood cells. Those are the things you can view under microscope. Once you are viewing it, you can see them. So for the bone, osteocytes, viewing bone under microscope, the shape is always like this. This is the central canal, and this is how the shape is always look like. So let's go to the third type of tissues that we mentioned earlier, which happens to be muscular tissues. We've talked about epithelial, we talked about connective tissues. Then now we are now talking about what? Muscular tissues. The cells of muscular muscles are called myocytes or muscle fibers. Myocytes or muscle fibers. Not the same use of word as in connective tissue fibers. No, it's not the same thing. When you use connective tissue fiber, no. But this one is just muscle fibers. So myocytes. So and the muscle types can be derived based on locations, based on situations, voluntary or involuntary control. So basically, we have three types of the muscle. The first one is the skeletal muscles, which happen to be serrated. It is voluntary. The location is always towards the bone, towards the bone. Whereas we have the second one to be smooth muscles. Smooth muscles is non-serrated, not serrated. It is an involuntary muscle because it has an involuntary control. Then the location is at the visceral areas. You can find it at visceral areas. Several visceral areas are where you can find the smooth muscles. The cardiac muscles is the third one. Cardiac muscles. This one is found specifically in the heart. This one is found specifically in the heart. It is cross-serrated. It is actually cross-serrated. It is an involuntary muscles because it has an involuntary control. Because it has an involuntary control. So the types of muscles, as I've mentioned them earlier, smooth muscle tissues, cardiac muscle tissues, skeletal muscles tissues. And you can see where they are. Skeletal is a voluntary control, cardiac is involuntary, smooth is also what involuntary. Then the muscular tissues with striations. This is the explanations very well. What are the features you need to know? Striation always composed of what? Dark A bands and light I bands. And this one past what we call was sarcolemma. Always have sarcolemma, plasma membrane surrounding fibers. Plasma membrane. I believe you still remember plasma membrane like a protective covering, like a shirt, something protecting the particular cells there. So sarcolemma is what is there in the skeletal muscles. Then where they are located, they are always they are under what? Voluntary control. Voluntary control, under voluntary control is where you can see them. Then the cardiac always located under involuntary, found in the heart. Features you need to know there is what intercalated disc, and this is cross-rated. In fact, thin striations across fibers. The striation is not like that of a skeletal muscles, and the smooth muscles. So you can see now which two of the three muscles kind are rated. The answer is so direct. Which two of the three muscle kinds are rated? Basically, you have two out of the three that are rated. Likewise, I said earlier that one is thick, the other one is fainted. One is well defined, the other one is just across the fiber. So the two types of the three muscle kinds that are rated are one skeletal muscle, the second one is a cardiac muscles. So this is how they are. As we still continue, you can still see the diagram of the types of muscles that we have. Then the last one now, the last type of tissue is nervous tissues. Nervous tissues. So under microscope, want to view nervous tissue, this is how they look like. This is what they resemble. Then you can now see that the shape of neuron with long processes, that is dendrites and axons, how they extended out from the main cell body are being shown. Then what are the features you need to know there? The large irregular shaped cell body, because a normal nervous tissue consists of what we call neurons, that is nerve cells, and the features or the parts of nerve cells, they are dendrites, axons, and cell body. Those are the three parts of nerve cells or neuron. So those are the things you are expected to see. So you can see them, you can see the diagram here very clear. So this is how they are. We are supporting cells too in nervous tissues, supporting cells known as what? Neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cells, they are the ones supporting the neuron. This is the normal neuron, normal nerve cells. They are the ones supporting it because they consist of that. The nervous tissue consists of neuron and neuroglials. They are the ones supporting in form of squamous cells, satellite cells, astrocytes. So that's how they are. So that is the micrographs of nervous tissues. Locations, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, functions that to conduct nerve impulses. So let's now move to the last part, which one is glands. Glands. The glands, we have two types of glands, exocrine and endocrine. Glands, they are organs that are capable of secreting substances, capable of producing secretions. So those are the organs capable of what? Producing secretion. We have two of them. One that's secreted outside, exocrine. Those are secreted inside, endocrine. So unicellular gland or multicellular glands. So for the goblet cells, this is the shape you're expected to see there. This is how they look like. For the endocrine, examples of endocrine gland like pancreatic gland, pancreas, pancreas. Example like pancreas. Pancreas is an endocrine gland. This is capable of secreting pancreatic juice. Whereas the endocrine, capable of secreting hormones, we have many of them. We have many of endocrine as well. Salivary gland is also examples of endocrine. Sweat gland, examples of endocrine. Parotid gland, examples of endocrine. Mammary gland, examples of endocrine. So we have many examples of endocrine, which happens to be pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, and in fact testes. It belongs to it, ovary belongs to it, pineal gland, so many of them, so many. So this is the end, and you have these questions which you have to attend to. Name the specific type of epithelial tissue at right. And this diagram we are seeing, what type of, so just name it at right. Then you label, name these label structures. Then look at this diagram to do it. All the answers are there. And then name the type of tissue at right. Which type of tissue it is. So we go back, then the specific kind of cartilage at right. Where can it be found? Then we also have another question there. Name the kind of muscles at right. Which one of these tissues has collagen fibers? You let us know that has collagen fibers. Soft organs such as lymph nodes and spleen are composed of which specific kind of connective tissue? The histology slide at right is a hollow organ. Name the organ. Then which of the three kinds of muscle will it be in number 8? The number 8 half. So I wish you good luck. Thank you for listening. So bye.